that was. I don't know what BDS was saying. I don't speak the language.
Now, do you like some fun stats?
Oh, always.
BDS has played Oregon a total of 12 times.
Yes.
You can guess how many times they've won it.
Some of them.
Yeah, you're correct. Some of them. 3. Once Wolves, once Fury, one Chief. So 2 times against APAC, once against a fellow European team.
Yeah.
Astralis have played Oregon a total of 9 times. They've won it a total of 7 times. M&M, Space Station, Dark Zero, Oxygen, Exet, Mirage, and Dark Zero again. So, statistically, Astralis should be able to take this.
Statistically, yeah.
However, we also know BDS, well, they might not be having the best of records right now. They know how to play this map.
Yeah, well, this is the thing about BDS, is once upon a time they were a good Oregon team.
Yes.
Then Oregon changed, and they didn't know what Oregon was. And they haven't quite been able to find themselves back in. It's almost this thing, you'll see it, where BDS fans are like, why do they keep going back to Oregon? Because they can't get it nailed down. And it's not that they're a horrible Oregon team. It's more that they're an average Oregon team, and a lot of other teams are good Oregon teams, because Oregon gets played a lot. And it sort of becomes that argument of which teams have a wider map pool and which teams have a shorter map pool, but they're stronger on that shorter thing. This is when it gets tested. BDS are definitely a wider map pool team, I think. They like to enjoy a few different maps. However, jack of all trades.
They're the average all-map enjoyer.
Yeah, they're the average Oregon enjoyer.
Yeah. Whereas Astralis might be the more distinguished Oregon player. I don't know. We'll see how it works out, because, I mean, the 7-3 is definitely a big, big blow to receive on your final match of groups. And, of course, both these teams already managed to qualify for playoffs, but what we're playing for is the extra life.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned before, we're all gamers. We know that's going to be good to have that extra life, because that means that you might, mess up the Goomba Stomp once. And you can still continue going.
They got it.
They got it now?
They get it now?
There you go. Yeah, and Lem's just staying around to check, just to be sure.
They've rehearsed this whole strategy. That was part of it. All right, well, talking about part of it, look at this, iconic. Already in. He saw that the fact that the bottom of tower was softed, and that gives him the confidence to know he's not going to get swung. He's not going to get some immediate pressure from the opposite end. There's a little bit of width for them to get it popped open, and they're more and ready and raring to go. They've got the Thatcher. The hatch won't be the biggest problem in the world. They'll get this rolled on. They'll get this popped off. The second will stop it coming back together, and that will get broken open. Forces a big bit of utility and space, having to clear out a little bit further. They need to then put the pressure onto the Shaiko wall, which isn't electrified, so the Habana should be able to do some damage there if it goes top corner unchecked, which it will in the top corner. Is the unchecked going to come together? No.
Impact use, not an EMP, just an impact explosive used to get rid of those X-Kairos. So Shaiko is going to be a little bit more secure for now in his only named spots. Grenade from Spiff coming down, but over my disc, he's going to be catching that one. So he's going to be throwing a second one with Iconic right below the staircase there. Bride falls first. J90 takes him down.
This is exactly the start that Astralis need. They flood into the site and flood the bodies out. There's at least 2 back from BDS, but with Forrest in a corner ready to tuck and plant, and 1 more in their favor. Efac is in a bit of a tricky situation. He swings, gets Iconic. Shaiko, he's got to win out his engagement, but they don't quite get the full bite. There it is. The pair of them, and a 2 versus 1 Forrest. Didn't have the biggest game on the previous. Got the kit here. A clutch would be huge, but he cannot quite get the connection. And I said the danger is these 2 guns from their previous map continuing to pop off. They said we.
For those of you at home that do not know what it means, that means yes in French. It's just clarifying here.
I'm traveled.
Well spoken. But they did exactly everything right there on the side of BDS. Lickfax swings out, takes down the one on the cover. Then they realize, hey, there's someone still in blue. They work together. They swing at the same time. And after that, they stay together.
Yep.
But with a meter between themselves. So it isn't just a quick spray transfer. It isn't just a lineup in case they do swing that whole way. They find the clutch. BDS working together is what basically gets them that first round, because I was going to commend Astralis. Really well done. They open up the hatch very quickly. They take floor under control quickly. Yeah. They use the Flores drone to get Elbow under control. They push Elbow right afterwards and get the entries. Everything was going their way. until Shaiko and Likafak struck back.
It's the very strange, frustrating thing here is Astralis did that. I'm not going to say perfectly, obviously, but close to. It was so good. And you want to say, just do it again, because you'll more than likely find success. It's one of those things where, as you said, all of the structure take was fantastic. It was some of the best attacking that we've seen from them. It's their map, you expect it, but that was so well played. It was exactly how they needed to be.
Yep.
They needed to bounce back into this game, and they did. BDS have Shaiko and EFAC, two of the best guns in the world, and as you said, they know how to go for retakes. The way that they're able to manipulate the space, they didn't quite double up, but they were always supporting each other. That stuff happens, but even then, that was them pulling it back from your guys' great work, Astralis. Try and go back to that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, strategically, nothing done wrong there by Astralis. Just the gunfight's not really working your way, and oh, damn, coming back at you like that. Double teaming. Shuttle taken down first. It's the entry kill for BDS this round. Shaiko will take him down. That's going to be the floors off the board. It's going to be a huge loss considering 4 RC Retiros no longer to be used. Think about all the shields that could be out there as Lems takes down Forest as well. This looks like BDS might just try and continue on their old habit that they have set up on Cafe.
I think they were taken a bit surprised by the pace of Astralis on the previous round, and they've sort of said, well, let's see if we can lean into that a little bit more. Obviously, different side, second story, more windows, but there, Shaiko propped up on the attic window, waiting to see a result, and Spiff, in the meantime, he's crept his way through into Trophy. Isn't quite going to overextend the swing. Just going to hold and hope somebody gets caught out and a bold rotate round the back end as the Candela pressure might start to come round behind them. But you're up against the Warden. Shaiko is the perfect person to be in a position to stop this. He turns on the glasses, he waits. Lems is on the far opposite end. The grenade under Renshiro doesn't get the catch. And look at this, Shaiko, he just steps even further in. And as they see it's a Warden, they pop the canister. Spiff gets caught from Renshiro. And Iconic now a little bit separated underneath.
And he popping those glasses, not even trying to go for the shot on the Candela. You can, of course, shoot them out as well, but it's just so finicky, and you know, often a push instantly comes right after. So using those glasses is just a way better option to deal with it if you are, of course, the Warden. Now, there is a C4 still in pocket for Shaiko. Iconic is hunting below, but he gets taken down, meaning it's only left to J9. Oh, he did everything he could. He jumped in, got taken down. There was nothing really he could do from that spot. And they're getting very loud at the side of BDS. Something entry, Goyo, and get you an entry.
Goyo gets you an entry.
Something like that. I mean, my French is by no means perfect, but I heard entrée, which
is entry.
Is, entry or entry. And Goyo seems like Goyo, but you know. I mean, I ain't no.
You hope that's a flat translation.
But I hope that's a flat translation.
You hope that's a flat translation.
Otherwise, I might have just sworn. I mean, not the first time one of us has sworn with French broadcast accidentally, right?
Okay, well, the first round was great from Astralis. That was unfortunately great from BDS if you're an Astralis fan. For BDS, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect return. To go from how quickly they were overwhelmed and swamped and taken a little bit by shock and awe in the first round to just running the gauntlet the second time there, as they were sort of saying and alluding to, they were in positions to get the first step in. They were pushing and pressuring and manipulating the space. They were confident enough to go through roams, rotations, and try and find the approaching players, as well as still having all of their structure. By the end, the site itself was entirely untouched.
LMs might play this in a do and die situation here. He's had 2 Frostmats to back himself up. He's going to be playing in a small tower. There's basically no way he's going to get out of there alive. Unless he kills everybody that is going to come and hunt him. And the idea of those Frostmats is that as soon as they do start and try and jump in, well, there's nothing really they can do because they'll be instantly either picked up by the guns or by the Frostmat right afterwards. That's what he's trying to bank on here.
Forest going around the back end of Alems. The shuttle is on the front. They're going to see if they can probably pop some grenades, and they're going to see if they can get some support just from around the side. The Florist drones are a great bit of kit for this exact break. You can remove those frost mats that are being pinged to the players. You can offer some support and some play against what is otherwise set in. Well, you do just that. A little duck and take there from Spiff. Excellent removal of Alems, and that's how you demonstrate a small tower break.
Just jump in. There's still Frostmed there.
Don't do it.
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 They've cleared out the other one, I believe.
Yeah, the others entered from it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they've drifted over to double, and instead they've got Iconic ready to swing from the side of Pit. They're hoping they try and rotate down white, maybe offer some support towards the site itself, but for now they can just get the freebie from it. Shaiko entirely caught unaware.
Yeah, it seems like they weren't aware of someone being out there in Attic, and that's going to be that double loss here for BDS. That's going to be hurting them quite a bit. Little verticalities being set up above the dining area as well. Leak Effect has the opportunity for 1, not 2 free kills. The confirmed didn't come through. A flawless round as a reply to a flawless round from Astralis.
Okay, you know how I said the last round was a great response to the first round?
Yeah, this is another great...
Yeah, the third is a great response to the second. A flawless on the back of a flawless either side. And, well, Astralis are far from done yet, and this is what you wanted to see from them. It was more of that first round. It was pitch perfect. They knew what they needed to put the pressure on. They let themselves in. They weren't entirely throwing themselves in.
Yeah.
The setup was there. The break, as I said, the Flores drone to remove parts of the hole. The Lems was entirely cornered, and then they focused on what they needed to put pressure onto next. They didn't get lost, as they seemed a bit on Cafe, where they were trying to piece together where BDS were. They knew where they were, and they made sure they were punished for it.
I'm going to say it's a tertiary site that was just played. However, we need to see more of that resolve that we just had on the other two, especially this one, Laundry. It is quite a difficult site to approach, and I'm quickly pulling up the Oregon statistics. 73% win rates on this side, 26 plays, by far the most played site during the Six Invitational on this map so far. So, that being said, it is very defense-sided, especially if you have a mirror on the board and there's no Twitch on the opposite end to counter it. That's going to be making things even more difficult here.
Similar sort of approach. Not going to double-check that call this time. He's confident.
Yeah, got it.
Hey, oh, he still double-check. He still went back at the end of that. I mean, the hatch was able to be opened by the Thatcher last time. It'll at least take some utility and means you can maybe move those claws elsewhere, because chances are, if that hatch does get popped open, that claw will still be collectible. It won't get destroyed by the impact.
No, that will definitely not be destroyed. There's indestructibility on the other side. Spiff. It's going to give away his position right there. Takes down the cam, fires some shots over the G36C. But there's no real need to worry on the side of BDS because there's a mirror window right next to it. So, need to get a grenade on the other side to clear out set player. There's no way for them to shatter either that glass or to break it without attacking from the opposite side. But the other one is in a small office watching the laundry staircase as well. So, basically both unusable.
Put a little punch hole in there to make them a bit cautious, and they have the camera watching it. For now, they haven't decided to swing their way up. Here comes the pressure onto the hatch, and look at that, Astralis actually have a player watching it. The second one will get caught out. The claw gets recollected. Now they pull themselves back in as the Flores does the work we talked about before. It's just the perfect operator for attacking this site, and this hold specifically can roll its way on through, gone with a slightly different angle. The ADS is catching some of the damage. That one will get it forced around. Shaiko's still in a position where he can play against the wall. The break comes. Ranchiro pre-fires. There's a pre-fire right back. Drop on the hatch itself. They swing around in close. Ranchiro gets the scrape onto one, and with EFAC getting one more, Forrest gets the double and drives through, but Ranchiro catches one, and there's Forrest with his third. Alems, suddenly, all that's left in a 2 versus 1. The kid hasn't been planted, but with all the time that they have here, Astralis, with a little bit of side control, can maybe try and formulate the fight. Alems is going to see if he can get at least one engagement first. They were holding Pillar. He was a little late to the party, but there's the grand reveal on just where he's stacked up. So they can maybe move towards the default plant spot, although the C4, if that goes over the top and he gets this first engagement, they're going to stick the plant. You got to see if you can get the lead in, but J90 has the cover.
The kill was there, the cover was there, otherwise that C4 definitely would have been dropped and taken care of. The diffuser. So good stuff on the cover there. A bit of chaos coming through. I mean, the hatch drops and the rotation as well back into blue from the first person dropping electrical was made possible by Flores using the RC Rotero, creating that rotation. Allowed him to quickly put up that pressure onto Shaiko. He was, of course, watching the barrel. Suddenly there's someone like within half a meter of you. It's not something you would have expected to happen. And you catch them by surprise, you find yourselves an extra round, and that's, again, that resolve we needed to see. Astralis, they ran into problems. They saw the mirror windows. They saw basically the entire south side and west side are not going to be usable. All we have is a staircase and one hatch, and that's all they needed.
Okay, 2-2. Certainly, we got a game on our hands, and I'll be honest, you always enjoy it when it does come together. We'll see if BDS can sort of lean back in. There's a couple of players that haven't quite had the same connection this time round as last. Obviously, Brede hasn't quite been in a position to get himself engaged in the gunfights. And with how things are getting quite scrappy, that shows that, to me, Astralis have stepped up into this. They were missing on that gun game specifically before, and here, they're a threat, they're a force. That is exactly what you need. There's an Gara hook. A chance at a quick play and plant here. Iconic, you know, you'll often either see this to get to the top of tower, but the fact that they're not doing that makes me think it might come in for a big risk towards the bedroom window.
Definitely be some quick pace to come through, but I believe for now it's just Iconic near the tower. Of course, quick travel as well, using that. And there comes Thermic, yeah, just want to open up quickly, but they need to have the Selma as well, just to make sure that if there is any tricking going on. Oh no, they wanted to go for the opposite side as well at the same time.
Just look at this, they're in. Forest going straight to the plant. Iconic in the bedroom window. Brede and J90 are kind of able to get a couple of Lemses underneath, but they do get the planter. EFAC, he's looking for the fight. Spiff's holding off on the top of white stairs for the rotate and gets the catch perfectly. Lems, everything to do. Up the hatch as the check. Has it been checked, and will they find out? They're watching. There's the drone. They know where he is, and he is 40 seconds, but it's an easy close down for Astralis.
Good fucking call, bro. I think it's supposed to be back down, bro.
I thought you meant the Gen 1.
No, let's go.
Good calls coming down on the rush call coming through. Just all these openings happening at the same time and just instantly running through the breach. That is always something that catches defenders off guard. Same with the ammo, just repelling in.
So I called it.
As you called it, yeah. And that means that, you know, you catch BDS by surprise. There's only a couple of people left and they're offside. There's not much they can do. And now they're headed back towards the basement, hoping to find themselves with a 3-3 half.
Astralis has been so sharp these past 3 rounds. And you kind of wonder what is going to blunt them at this point. The pace has been phenomenal. They are a great Oregon team, and they're proving it. And as I said, you needed that. You wanted that from them. The same way BDS did it. Because the third map is going to be a bloodbath if we end up there. And at this rate, we probably will. But it's a game of 2 halves, and I won't get too ahead of myself. BDS, they've struggled to get a connection with the players of Astralis. Just the motions that they're making as well. They always seem a bit surprised that things are coming at them as fucking heavy and hard as they are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, BDS did look quite surprised there, and you shouldn't be with the openings happening. Someone should be watching them. Someone should be ready to instantly reply as they walk in. And, you know, of course, 3 fires came down from Astralis, and one of them instantly did get a kill. But BDS should be more ready. For now, they're showing that Oregon isn't one of their best maps, and they'll be struggling with that if they continue throughout this tournament, if this is what their current state of Oregon looks like.
J90, he was sharp in the first map, and he was a big name screaming through the last side. Iconic has stepped up massively as well. To be honest, my eyes are a little bit drawn to the Blitz, though. Where is Forest going to go as their point of ingress? You'll often see a Blitz push onto blue. It'll move behind, drive towards the shield, and just put a lot of stress and pressure on the player, but it's often combined with maybe a Gon 6, some pressure from around the sides as well, because you're forcing yourself against a smoke and a shotgun. There's a quick play and break onto the hatch itself to make sure they don't get electrified, and focus towards tower once again.
Forrest is having himself ready. He's bringing his own drone towards him. He is just going to be that one bit of pressure needed from blue. I think we're going to see a similar kind of hatch drop strategy coming through, but this time there is going to be that one shield to provide some support. The Salmons go off. That is going to be putting Shaiko in a bit of a more difficult position if it were not for the impact grenade they just used. As Brede is for now just using his smoke canisters to stop any push from coming in. There's only 30 more seconds he can do that with before Forrest is free to walk in.
No, as I said, pressure around here onto blue, led in by Flores drones. Will he make the motion? There's the drive. He's concerned about Shaiko swinging, but J90 has the cover, and there's the Blitz trying to get it. There's one, there's two! locked down on the elbow swing, and Astralis blindside BDS.
Let's go, baby. Put your hands in the air. Put your hands in the air. Good fucking call, shit. Let's put it right
Just having a party already. I haven't even won the map yet. But they're definitely on the way there. And that was one of those classic 3, 2, 1, execute moves coming through as they just went for it. The double kill with the Blitz. The other players as well, just doing what they needed, picking up their fights. The cover on Shaiko as well, perfectly placed. Now BDS over to the attack. On the defense, they seem lost. Let's see if they can pull something together on the attack right here to bring it up a little bit closer.
Located by attackers.
Because those first 2 rounds, that was great. Everything else afterwards is not major champion material that we've seen. It's not what we're used to be seeing from them.
No. They're going to try a play of their own, though. What? How do you fight fire with fire, fight blitz with blitz?
10 seconds to insertion.
Can you blame them? Not really.
Richiro isn't the first name that I would tie to blitz.
No, but who would you put on blitz for this lineup?
Yeah, that's the tricky thing with BDS.
Shaiko? I mean, we've seen him play Monty before. It's,
Yes, once in charity tournaments, I believe.
Exactly,
Yeah, I mean, they're going full in on it, and this is the old school-ish way of doing it. They're going to get the reveal, shuttle's close with a shotgun, they're going to gon 6 the door and charge behind it, or maybe just shoot through. There's Renshiro, 3, 2, 1, go. He's getting the blind on shuttle, there's the kill on the first. There's Forrest round the back, though, with the double. They're inside the side, EFAC down, buried inside Laundry. The rotate onto Freezer are the 2 remaining players. J90 opens a bit of the angle. There's one coming down on the back end. Iconic has some of the support, but without the diffuser, who knows where it's sat. The first reveal is the big one. Shaiko's looking for the fight, but it's Iconic with the break, and Shaiko with Spiff. Blow for blow and trade for trade. J90 with a bit of a reveal. EFAC now all that is left. And with a bit of the break, all the goo mines in a slow, we still have 2 minutes left of this round. Astralis, shoulder peek, get a reveal, give a little bit to EFAC. The flash over the top, the rotate round to Pillar, another shoulder peek. EFAC cannot quite get the motion, the moment right here, and that's going to be a bit of a blow. Steps right into a goo mine, has not left, and they still have plenty of those littered around. One more flash. A little bit of a slink and a rotate away, covered by the noise. He wants to just try and find a single 1 versus 1. The pre-fire, do they know where he is? They seem to have a pretty good idea. Does one, can he get the last? There's a bit of a chance, there's a bit of a prey, and there's a bit of a rotate. The pings are hard, they know where he is. He's pulled off, he's going for one more pressure. There's another catch, another bulletproof, and another minute has ticked away. J90, he gets it out.
Shouting the names, the 2-5 is there for Astralis. It did get quite close though, the rush could have worked out, but the diffuser dropped in the first casualties of that round. Is what stopped that.
No fucking.
You heard him. Yeah, you heard him. The language is pretty clear. I'm not going to repeat it, but you know. But due to that diffuser dropping, you know, there was no way to bait those defenders coming towards you. There was no, you know, baiting with putting the kid down and trying to force a move. No. And as long as you don't have that, those defenders are going to be staying put. And you're going to have to force yourself into getting those 2 1v1s.
I think that was it. You know, you could see that suddenly they're in this really rocky engagement. You've got a blitz, but when you're in that situation as the blitz at that point and you've done your job, you become quite awkward because you've done that little quick dive. The reason it can work in that short space, and you see it specifically for those pushes, is you're turning a corner pretty instantly. You should have some cover on your back. That dropped out, but you're going in a straight line down a narrow corridor.
Yeah.
You know what you're pointing at.
Shocking off.
At that point, then you're in a room, and you've got to think where they're at. There's vision down from Freezer. There's potentially, you know, laundry stairs to their left. There's potentially the swing around the long corridor on the right. It's so tricky for you to then manipulate yourself and maneuver to a place where you can do the support and have to fight your way back out. So,
I mean, the name kind of says it, right? Blitz. It's meant to be a quick initial attack, and after that, you're going to find yourself With Liquefact picking up a kill, needs to be careful though. Almost lost his own life rightly after. The entry is there. This is something they need to build off.
Oh, he's so tempted to swing back. He doesn't know that he's not looking. Now he is. Oh, and he just slips the timer there. Forrest could have been gifted the first. For Astralis this round, he might be able to still find it down the corridor, and Astralis is just stepping in. They sort of said, look, this is our game. This is our fight. The grenade down the end of the corner gets a perfect take. And as the E1D pops out, they're going to just make sure that nobody's getting the recovery. A bit of motion, a bit of movement, an easy pickup with the Lems also finding one on the back end. Okay. Suddenly, things have entirely lit up for the side of BDS. Spiff, can he try and pull some of this body count back?
Big question. Grenade is being pulled, he should be aware of it.
Puts it back in.
Back in pocket, yeah. He's not going to be throwing that one. He didn't want to go for the re-peek. E1D comes off, means he needs to stand still, and as he moves again, he's going to try and find Shaiko, but there's going to be another member of BDS quite close. Shuttle up above is the only member on the actual side, is not receiving any pressure yet, but he doesn't have to because there's still plenty of time. Shaiko takes the head off clean. Only up to Shuttle now in a 1v5. An ace-clutch situation needs to happen. Is it likely? Well, not very. They're inside by the double window. A plant surely is coming down soon. Not even a flawless round from BDS to put them up 3-5. They are still in this game, even though Astralis is ahead.
Third flawless round of
it is.
This map. 2 of them have been BDSs of their 3.
It's a secret. You just need to get a flawless round to win it.
They're like all or nothing.
Yeah, definitely are.
They're like, we all survive, or we're not taking the round.
You know, it's just a team mentality. Like, we win together, we lose together.
It's worth sort of looking at that past round as well in terms of Astralis. 3 of them were on peaks outside. You had the double door, you obviously had Iconic called out, and then you had the bottom white stairs. Yeah, they were, you know, I'm not going to say they sort of played that one to the wire, but they went for an aggressive strategy and it fell away from them. They still have a lot to play for there. You take a risk. Because if you win that round and you get yourself into map point 6-2 off of the back of 3 people peering out the front windows, that's a huge mentality thing.
All right.
10 seconds to insert.
Let's see if the mentality continues. For now, it doesn't look like there's any spawn peak attempts being set up. The only one close to it is Forrest. He's still putting down some of the banshees, so doubt he's going to be going for a cheeky look towards the outside world. Just wanting to stay alive now. Do the best he can. Drones coming through. Spotted out the ADS. Brida instantly exerted his drone as well. It's going to be rotating it around to a different part of the map. It is going to be a mirror window taken out quickly, though, by Liquefact's Twitch. He's on the hunt for an XPC utility. Might actually be trying to hide that drone in that bookshelf for a bit of utility and information later on.
BDS, still on the back foot. Still going to have to try and pull this away. It's obviously a slight difference in terms of the site. They didn't want to double down with dorms. Instead, they're going to go for their tertiary. They're going to go for a slightly different approach here. And, well, it's a slightly different approach. As I said, if the previous one was full guns blazing outside the door, this time they've gone, okay, let's not lose our heads. Let's go back to a bit of this control and play against the time, because they've done that very well throughout this Shaiko. He's looking for an engagement both up and down the stairs. Slight rotate and support coming through, and with that mirror window open, Forrest is playing it a little bit more of a dangerous angle. Luckily for the player on the drone, they were behind the solid shower wall.
Grenade been tossed in, no one in security. At least, according to that grenade. I believe a rotation might have just came through that actually makes sure it is now manned. Lem's just holding Spiff as well from above. They're all trying to provide some cover to one another. As the basement in the meantime is being entered by Liquefact, as you just saw. He's going to go on a bit of a, potential flank, see if he can sneak up anywhere without making too much noise. BDS still trying to figure out where they want to go for it. Looks for now like it should be a kitchen push, and Liquefact coming up right here, and Freezer should double down on that. Hoping that he might be able to catch one off if they rotate down.
That's it. They've sort of posturized their way around kitchen, but that comes with vertical, and that's what Alem's doing right now. They're pushing their way across. Alem's got himself inside. Ranchero gets Forrest, and now EFAC is driving towards it, but you still need the kills up top. And that's Alem's to win out the first, Alem's to win out the second as well, and as the smokes go down, J90 smoke goes right back. hopes to stop the plant. They can always move and manipulate as EFAC doubles deep and pushes down the long corridor. Iconic just saw a sliver of a player behind a bed, didn't get the full sight. They're kind of dipping either way, and Alem's tucked on a corner, is able to pick up Iconic, a bit blind. J90 against the world, and well, it's another flawless round.
Redid is something perfectly. So did BDS, another flawless round coming through.
I can't believe that the majority of their rounds that they've won have been flawless.
Yeah, it is insane. 3 out of 4 rounds.
3 out of 4 BDS rounds have been flawlesses, and they're still losing the game.
For now. That might just turn around, you know. We're headed back towards the laundry. It is a failed rush attempt that we saw here in round 7 to come through. We're left with 3 people, but no diffuser in pocket. Makes it a little bit difficult to get that, you know, side advantage that they did manage to build up to really work your way. And thus a different approach is most likely imminent now from BDS. For now, do not see any blitz. Of course, can still change. There's, you know, 14 seconds left that they can. Operators only lock at 2 seconds left. But it seems to be a very standard kind of take that they want to be going for here. You see soft breach capability in terms of Zofia, Buck, Sledge. You also have the hard breach in terms of Hibana, but also Buck. And you have the entry, but also a little bit of information coming out from Shaiko and Liana. So it's all round. It's not made for a rush. You can rush with it if you really want to, but it's more of a default kind of take they want to go for.
Astralis, a couple of rounds have slipped away, and I think if this one does as well, we might get a team talk. Spiff pulls himself before they're pulled out of the engagement. EFAC with the entrance onto small tower, wants to get the angle and cut off the rotate. Force a bit of an awkward play in case they come this way, but they've already left. Spiff wasn't going to try and butt heads this far away from the site itself with no support. They know that they've got to be in charge of that trade game.
2 minutes 10. BDS entering from the western side. Shaiko is waiting for that drone to roll up ahead from him. Are they aware of the fact that someone is on the freezer stairs? Well, I believe that person is just falling back now. It's Spiff, you know, heading down just slightly. That drone now will have spotted it out. The hatch is open. Got to be careful for that one. Shaiko actually went upstairs rather than chasing the drone headed downwards. Of course, Iconic is still in T3, so he's all the way up above. He will remain a threat for the remainder of the round. He is potentially going to turn into a bit of a flank that will be activated later on.
This is when you post the Batman memes.
Yeah, that is where you post the Batman meme.
Wait.
Like the signal when you need it.
Holding on the rooftops, ready to pounce and get the French. But J90 going to be a first bit of preparation, pre-fires into the angle in case somebody was watching it on the opposite end. Iconic still sits, still waits, patient as ever. The longer this time goes on, the more dangerous he becomes. That drone getting caught out is brilliant for Iconic. Still sits, still waits, still holds on as BDS go about their day and try and put pressure onto the opposite end. They're picking up and rotating, I believe, over to blue. They are. Alems is there. The kit is above the hatch by itself. Still waiting, still holding on, still ready as Shuttle pulls themselves back in, back towards the site itself. They're wondering just when the push is going to come, but with 40 seconds left, it has to be sooner rather than later. More drones proposition, more drones get themselves set up. They're trying to piece things together. The break finally comes, 30 seconds.
Ooh, they're rare.
They know. They just found out at the end there, and EFAC, he was holding onto the angle. The rotate goes above. There's the break on the hatch. They're looking for the fight, and he's got to look up. He's got to look down. He's all alone. Spiff gets Shaiko, and Shiro gets damaged, and there is Astralis getting themselves a huge amount of bodies. Bride all that's left. But without the diffuser, we're on that point.
Listen, we should consolidate the roam here, bro. And we should try to play forward towards like.
I'm kind of shouting
Yeah, so you guys remember the setup for fucking.
the enemy's name. Attack break. 4-6, logical to call it now, of course. If you lose this, you're headed towards a map number 3 again, for those of you that are wondering. Sorry.
Et quand on exec, ils sont 2 ou 3 BP, ok? Là, on a tenté autre chose, on a laissé un roamer au top, etc. On a été puni derrière, ok? Là, on est en 6-4, on est en 4-6, ok? Là, s'ils mettent le round, la map, elle est finie, d'accord? Mettez-vous un truc dans la tête, les gars. C'est le 6 Invitational, ok? C'est qu'une fois dans l'année, les gars. Donc là, les gars, il reste quelques rounds, on peut revenir, les gars, ok? C'est pas perdu. On y croit, on le fait, on joue ensemble, on continue. Ce que vous avez fait, c'était bien, mais punissez-les. Punissez-les, les gars. C'est des merdes, ok? Allez, les gars, vamos!
Allez les gars là. On y va, on les punit.
En vrai, les gars, je vous le dis, en termes de duel, on est au-dessus. Mais genre largement. Genre vraiment. Donc je pense qu'en vrai, quand on fait nos attaques depuis le début qui sont passées là, je pense que ce qu'on a fait, c'est bien.
I understood a couple of those words.
What do you understand?
One of them I can't repeat because it's a swear.
Of course you understand that word.
But I think a lot of that was sort of saying, this is the 6th Invitational. We know how to play this game. We know how important this is. There's a lot of passion there. There always is with the French team.
Yeah. Also heard something along the lines. This is 4-6 now. We'll make this 8-6. You know, something like that.
4-6.
They'll be able to lock it off. If they really believe in themselves, of course, that would require them to go back into the defense in overtime, which hasn't really been kind to them. It requires some improvements to be made, but you know, better to try than to give up now. Changes coming through. Line, Twitch. Those are still tentative, could still change. Of course, to take care of the mirror windows that could be brought by Spiff and are being brought. They've been proven troublesome for both these teams, and that Twitch should be a way to deal with it.
BDS, will the team talk prove the necessary missing ingredient to driving it back? It was a missed moment there. They obviously got the intel of the roam, of Iconic, but they got it super late. Efat gets that mirror window super early. The Mozzie will still cause potential problems for the approach of those drones, as it did before, but at least this time they can do some damage. I do like the limitation on the drone game of BDS. Astralis obviously picked up on just how good it had started to turn into.
He's acting like he's one of the drones right now. He turned his back to them as they opened up the wall, so forced, you know, that his drone wouldn't be spotted out as being one of the fakes.
Is that 2 drones that have fallen? No, they're able to get that Mozzie past. I thought they'd been able to get 2 of them there.
He's just spotted out Shaiko. He's letting them know. A second person just entered. Also, no clue that that's a taken drone. They should really be aware of the fact that one of them is not their own.
Both mirror windows popped open, and the suspicious drone with the fake moustache is still happy to drive around and pretend that it's one of the gang, but Forrest actually almost gets removed from the opposite end, and there's 2 drones getting the full read on the player. That one gets sprayed down the cover, and Shiro is going to bounce this grenade around the corner off the open mirror window and push behind it. Cannot get the tail. They've slipped on Bayer, and Shiro, he's able to win out the engagement. Does he know the second? They're able to slip themselves off Shaiko. He's tucked. He was hoping somebody might try and swing their way back around onto that, but they're otherwise not making their presence known as of yet.
Tony Forrest actually was the one that got picked up by that grenade, as he was the one that was droning it and seeing it happen. As he was standing there when I just forgot where he was located at that point. Got saved, but Spiff lost his life for it, so a life for a life in that matter for Astralis, but they can still go for those drones. They are still in play. As Shaiko has in the meantime put himself up towards the bottom of the white stairs, looking to push up. They're aware of someone on Armory. Forrest goes for a run out, takes down Leakafak, and that brings it back to a 4-4.
LM's holding off on the window. Passionate words from the man that you need to have. A big step up here as Shaiko swings, just sees the side of a player that might have seen them slip onto white there at the top. Alems is on the bottom, rocked off. There's another quick pickup, and as I said, they had an idea, and now, well, it's a 2 versus 4. There's another gunfight that doesn't quite get itself resolved, but they've retaken underneath, retaken the top of white. Brede, 2 players left to find. One was below, so they've gone for a bit of a rotate. He's tucked, baiting the motion. There's a little bit of a swing, but barely any time, and Astralis aren't offering anything. Saw some of the engagement to the top of white. There's a rotate that comes off. There's an unfortunate timed plant. And we are going to map 3.
We're going to map 3 indeed to decide which of these two teams is going to be finding themselves in the upper bracket and which is going to be down into that lower bracket. It's going to be a tough fight going up towards that last map. They played there once before. It was the Charlotte Major as well. I believe back then it was in favor of Astralis with a 7-2 victory.